Ho, ho, ho. I was looking at my screen going, why am I not on there? Why am I not on there? I forgot to hit the go button for myself. Hey, I'm a little out of sorts. It is Thursday, December 28th, 2023, not Monday, and Monday was an important day. It was Christmas Day, so we all celebrated that, and I did not do a live stream on Monday, and I considered doing a live stream on Tuesday, and then I talked myself out of it. And then tonight I'm just sitting around and I'm like telling my wife, I said, I'm pretty bored. I think I need to do a live stream and catch up with everybody. So I apologize for the slight delay on starting the stream like I should. But I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I know we're all looking forward, hopefully, to a better New Year. We can't go into a lot of discussion on that, but sometimes there's hope for a better year coming. So let's just stick with that thought, okay? Take my sip of coffee, and we're gonna move on. So again, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I didn't get much done last week. Had a lot going on, family stuff, and Christmas parties, and all that sort of thing, and distractions. And then, of course, this week has been pretty much kind of the same thing, and really didn't get much done this week either. But I was able to work on a video that I plan to have ready either tomorrow or Saturday, and it's going to be a recap video. Now, that's a hard thing for me to do. I want to do a recap of everything I did this year. So there's a lot of videos out there. There's probably at least one a week. So that's put you at a good 52, roughly 52 videos. And so I'm taking snippets from all of the Bronco videos, the Cobra Jet videos, maybe some tool videos, a variety of things. And I'm just trying to not make it 3 hours long, but it's going to have just a short little bit of each video on there, and maybe some a little bit longer segments with a little more explanation as to what was going on. So I've been working on that, and these videos, editing and all takes time, and you get bored. You get bored sitting there and click, 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 section this, click, 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 section that, whatever. So I have been working on that, and I plan to have that ready again either on Friday or Saturday. So we'll see how it goes. But this is a little odd again, doing this Thursday night thing. I hope everybody is well. I hope you had a good Christmas, good get-togethers with your family. I know for us, we have our own 3 kids and 2 grandkids, and our one son has a girlfriend, and so it's a pretty good gathering we have at our house. And every year we have our tradition is lasagna. Yeah, and I love it. Love that lasagna. It's kind of a family recipe that we've been doing every year, and that's my favorite, one of my favorite things. So my wife usually makes 2 pans of lasagna, or makes a pan for Christmas and makes a pan for my birthday. So always excited about lasagna. Okay, let's see who is here tonight. And again, I don't know who's going to show up, because I posted this maybe about 5:30, and sorry, I wasn't sure what to expect as far as a turnout, because everybody's used to seeing me on Monday nights, and I don't know that I'll do one on Monday or not. Being that it's New Year's, so we'll just do this tonight and see how things go. If you want to bring up a subject, by all means, let's talk about some stuff. If you just want to talk about or share stuff you've done or whatever for your Christmas, that's okay too. I'm open to just about anything tonight, just to have some time to talk to everybody. So let's see who's here. First one in, Dave Tyson. Good evening, all. Happy holidays. Thank you, Dave. That's our first Dave sighting, by the way. Terry Keithley, good evening, Barry and all. Please hit the thumbs up and like button. Happy New Year, everyone. Yes, thank you, Terry. Oh, by the way, if you're new to this live stream, if you haven't seen this or been involved before, you get a bell for participating. And that bell was provided by David and Cheryl Barch. Yep. Evening, everyone. Been a while since I've been had a lot going on. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. So there's your bell. That's right. Same bell. Same bell. They sent that to me, so I've been using it ever since. Robert, the Infernal Craftsman, evening all, about to take the Queen to the train station. To the train station? So she can go to Madison, Wisconsin without me. To the train station? Okay. That's different, but I'm glad you checked in. I usually don't hear about people saying, I'm taking them to the train station. So, yeah, that's cool, I suppose. Nandu, good evening, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the holidays. Nice to see Barry is bored and decided to talk about cars. Yes. Yeah, I'm bored. March Indy. Hey, Barry, in the shop, cleaning up and getting ready for a Christmas party for my part-time job. Smoked, chopped, Boston butts, banana pudding, baked beans, mac and cheese, good groceries. Yeah. That does sound pretty awesome. By the way, I just ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before I came on. March Indy stopped by this past week as well. So it was fun to talk with him and hang out a little bit. We went out to one of the local buffets and pigged out on some food. So it was nice having him stop by. Rusty checking in. Hello, Barry and all. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and will have a Happy New Year. Thank you, Russ. Lillian. Joe, I would really love to talk to you privately. It is really important to me. Well, I don't know what the odds of that are, but you're welcome to send me an email if you like. And I don't know what it may be, but I think, let me see if I have my banner here. So if you want to send an email, that's fine. And maybe I can help you out with something you might have going on. But that's about all I can offer right now. But glad you're here, Lillian. D. Gilliland. Man, you're awesome installing a TCI kit on my 66 Mustang, and I can't thank you enough for your videos. Awesome. Awesome. Glad they're of help. Rick Ain, sorry. This is a nice surprise tonight. It's been a rough week going through Christmas, suffering with a kidney stone. Ouch. Hope everybody else is doing okay. Oh. Yeah, I have no jealousy of a kidney stone. I had one of those, and one was enough. Hope to never have that again, ever. So my sympathy is out to you, Rick. Let me see. I have a picture incoming. I probably have to delete a picture or two. So David and Cheryl sent me a picture of their dog. Let me go here. Back up. David and Cheryl, I sent you pictures of my Christmas. Oh, both are Great Danes. Let me see here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see if I can get that other one. Get the other one pulled up here. So you got Great Danes for Christmas? Is that what you're saying, Cheryl? Whoops, I have too many pictures. Let me delete something. That's the wrong one. Here we go. One more try. So we saw the first one. See if this one comes through. Let me stop the banner right now. And here's the other one. Oh boy. Those are big dogs. Big dogs. I like dogs. Definitely a dog person. So, glad you got some dogs. I'm assuming you got dogs for Christmas. I don't know. I sent pictures of my Christmas. Both are Great Danes. Okay. Keith, same here. We have Italian dishes at Christmas. Awesome. Yeah, you really can't beat the lasagna. You really can't. But glad you're here, Keith. Nick Moss is checking in. Hello, Nick. Glad you're here. I didn't know who would show up tonight, but I'm glad you're here, Nick. Terry Keith LeBerry, my wife said she would like your recipe. I can actually give you the recipe right now. It's really simple. It's lasagna. So you have your lasagna noodles, right? My wife makes this. It's fantastic. She takes sliced ham and Swiss cheese, rolls it up in the lasagna noodles, puts down spaghetti sauce, puts the lasagna pockets with the ham and Swiss cheese inside, all layered out. More spaghetti sauce, meat sauce on top, and some cheese on top of that. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Abe Godino. Hello all. Hello Abe. Glad you're here. Let's see, Nathan Murdoch. Does anyone make the inside side structure of a 65 Mustang roof side panel? Okay, so you're talking about the inner structure for the right here. Are you talking about a coupe? Nobody makes that I know of. So if you're talking about a coupe, those aren't available. You have to find one that's been scrapped or wrecked or something like that and salvage that piece out of it. As far as making it for a fastback, they do make it, but they don't sell it individually. You have to get it by the whole side of the car to get that part. It's kind of weird they do that, but it's also, I guess, part of their marketing strategy that, hey, if you need it, you got to buy the whole thing. You can't just buy that one piece. So that's about the best I can tell you on that. But glad you're here, Nathan. Good question. 87 Ram 50. You have helped with a 67 Mustang project I'm working on for a guy. So thank you. Awesome. Glad you're here, Ram. Rick Gain, I tagged you in a Facebook post for somebody was looking to sell back glass for a 69 Mustang fastback in Georgia. Don't know if you saw it, but thought it may be of some use to you. Okay, well, thank you, Rick. I do have a good glass for the 69, but those are pretty hard to find. As far as original pieces, I don't know if I guess they make them. I'm assuming they make them. But thank you, Rick. Chip Dunham. Hi from Michigan. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Chip. Glad you're here. Oh, Robert. The train takes her to the airport, shorter drive. Okay, now I get it. Okay. Nick Moss. Banana pudding, my absolute favorite, like last meal status. I won't say banana pudding is my favorite. I like banana pudding, but I would probably bypass it for one of my wife's chocolate cakes with filling and stuff that she makes. Yeah, I'd probably bypass it for that. Jeffrey Walker. I still have my dad's original 67 S-Code fastback. He got it new for his senior year. Oh, that's awesome. I hope it's still in good shape. That's awesome. Abe says, glued cowl removed and reattached on my 66 Mustang. Thank you, Abe. I'm glad you did that. Jerry is checking in. Howdy, Barry. Howdy, y'all. Sorry, Robert will be a tad late as he takes me to work. Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you as well, Jerry. Glad you're here. Glad you checked in. Donnie Roebuck. Barry, just checking in. I hope all is well. Well, since you're here, we'll do the old hat swap. How about that? Glad you're here, Donnie. All is well. Shannon Vaughn. Hello, everybody. Have a happy New Year. Same to you, Shannon. Glad you're here. Abe used a heat gun as was suggested and worked great. Scary how little heat removed it. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Panel bond, it does a great job. It does. As long as it's used in the right spot, in the right conditions. Yeah. I don't, I'm glad you fixed it. Very, very happy you fixed it. Nick Moss, old Marmaduke, yeah. David and Cheryl, one birthday, and second was Christmas. Okay, that's awesome. Abe, I feel much better now. Thank you, everyone. Good. Ray Buckman, good evening, Barry, and all from windy Colorado makes the 40-degree day feel worse. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. We've been pretty decent here. Um, we were looking back on our, you know, Facebook posts and stuff, and I think last year for Christmas it was like 9 degrees or something around that time. It was freezing, and then this year it was actually warm and rainy, and like even right now, I think the outside temperature it's still 45, which is pretty decent. So and we are on the front side, whatever, of getting longer days again, right? I think we've reached what's the winter solstice, and then the days start getting longer. So looking forward to longer days as well. But glad you're here, Ray. I don't know if I gave you a bell or not. I'll give you another one. Nathan says yes for a coupe. Yeah, there are salvage places that that have those parts. I do have somebody I know in Florida who has those cars and scraps those cars and different things. I don't know if he has something like that available, but that's generally what you have to do is find one that's been just totaled and buy that piece. Michael Pagliarini, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all. Barry, congratulations on your anniversary. Working on 34 myself. Well, thank you, Michael. Actually, it was 34 Christmases. That's the catch, 34 Christmases. Ron Walker says, hello, Joe. Hello, Ron. Glad you're here. I don't know if I gave you a bell, Michael. I don't know. Ron, hello, Joe. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Okay, there you go. Mr. Fireman checking in. Hi, Barry. Hello, sir. Glad you're here. Dave Tyson, 3 inches of rain over Christmas. Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot of rain. Not good. Not good. Nathan, a new floor pan that comes in well-through primer. How you prep it for paint? Thank you. Merry Christmas. That is a good question. The well-through primer, now if you're talking like this car, like this well-through primer, generally I don't mess with this. I will scuff it, get it, all smoothed out again, scratched up, and then spray epoxy on top of that, and then build up from there. Now, some people, they'll want to strip all this off, but a floor pan it's probably not worth it to do that. Just like this, it's not worth it to strip these off. Everybody gets concerned with this. This stuff seems to hold up pretty well as long as it's applied properly. I have found places where this as an assembly put together, when you take something off, as an example, the bumper brackets, they put that on and then they sprayed the well-through primer on top of it. And so that when I took that off to reposition those, I found rust on the bottom of that because it was never welded or was never primed prior. So something like the floor pan and even pretty much most everything else, I would just scuff it and shoot it with like an epoxy and then go up, whatever I'm going to add on from there. The EDP coating is a little more sketchy. That's the black stuff on other pieces. Some painters won't touch it. They want that all off. They'll blast it all off. I've left it on before, but I am now more prone to remove that stuff on the outside or what generally would be painted surfaces. So if I was like the inside of the quarter, I would not remove all that EDP coating. I would just leave it. But the outside, I would strip that all off and then spray epoxy and then build up from there. So good question. I don't know if that answers your question completely, but that's just what I have for you. Ray Buckman, yes, sir. Spring is around the corner. Yes. Randy Bayless, snow today in Indianapolis. Nothing stuck to the ground, but still not ready for it. Yeah. Yeah, you can have it. No interest in snow. Of course, I grew up in Pennsylvania in the snow. I don't miss it. I just don't miss it. Let me see. Oh, Speaking of Christmas presents and that sort of thing, I want to give a shout out to my wife. Yeah, she did a great job. I don't generally, if I want something, and we're all at this age where, like, if I want something, I'm just gonna buy it, and I don't ask for stuff for Christmas and never really like that, and she's gonna end up getting me something anyway. That's just, and I get her stuff. If she didn't ask for anything, I get her stuff too, but not like something crazy, or it might be simple. Like, I know she likes Cheez-Its and some certain candies, so I'll get her that stuff and say, here you go, because I'm not like I'm figure out which clothes would, I don't like that. It's not my thing. So anyway, she knows my enthusiasm for the 69 Mach 1 that I bought. And she went out of her way to get me, first off, a Mach 1 keychain. So I have this nice little keychain with a swivel on it, and that's a really nice thing. But she also ended up with this pouch, and I'm going to show you what's inside, because these are things I probably don't have. I know I don't have the one item for sure, but she got me a reproduction of the 69 Mustang owner's manual. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, what I really liked about this is, you talk about the 70s, 60s and 70s, where it was kind of psychedelic stuff going on. How about that owner's manual? I mean, come on. And then, it's got whatever. It's just a reproduction, but it shows you all the features, how to open the hood and hood latch, and probably safety features, and how to operate your heater controls, how an owner's manual operates. So pretty cool. That'll go on display once I get the car all put together, and take it to cruise-ins or whatever. Now, the other thing, I'm assuming that this is I don't know. I'm assuming it's a reproduction of an original brochure. And let me tell you, this is really cool. So there it has on the front, 69 Mach 1, and there's the opposite side. So it has the whole front end on the front of on the cover. Now, you open this thing up, and I mean, again, it's probably a reproduction, a good reproduction. So look at that. Shows you probably not a Mach 1, but a sport roof. Yeah, it even says Mustang Sport Roof right there. Go to the next page. It's got a Mach 1. Pretty cool. In fact, that's a Cobra Jet. It even says it on it. Yeah, it's got a Cobra Jet on the hood scoop. And then it goes into the coupe that nobody wants. And there's the Grande with the vinyl top that nobody wants anymore. And then, of course, there's the Grande interior. And there's one more page here, I think. Yeah, this shows the convertible. I would rather have a convertible than the coupe or the Grande. And then there's a list of features that were available. And stuff like the tilt column, the size of the tires, and GT equipment group. Just pretty cool. Pretty cool. So all that's going to go eventually on display with the car. So shout out to my wife for nailing it. Jeff Alisi. Hopefully it's not the Yellowstone train station. Doyle. And unless you remove the EDP coating, you can miss dents and imperfections that are hidden. It was so on both my quarters. Yep. Yeah, you got to take that coating off. I don't trust it. Not the EDP coating, anyway. Nick, I got an electric power washer, car cover, and a Snoopy ornament. Okay. Uh, Jeffrey Walker, my wife got me a 1/5 scale radio controlled gas buggy for Christmas. 1/5 scale? That sounds really big. That sounds really well. Merry Christmas. Nick, 1/5 scale, you could almost sit on that. Yeah, it sounds like it. Terry Keithley, Barry, I have an original brochure. Mint. Okay. Well, um, where did I have that? Uh, I have a drawer here, set of drawers, full of oddball stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I thought I had one here with some manuals in it or something, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Um, but I do have. Nope, don't have. Never mind. Never mind. Nick, or maybe strap the kids to it, or someone's kid. Yeah, yeah, when they're misbehaving. Bye bye. Ray says your wife knows what you like. She's a good one. Yes, no argument there. Randy Bayless ordered new fenders for my Silverado. Can't believe the condition. Not worth sending back. I will get out the hammer and dolly, but this is sad. Oh man. So you ordered like new aftermarket or new, like new GM fenders? Because I don't know I don't know what's available for those anymore, as far as aftermarket or you know factory stuff. I know we always ran into, what was it called? There was a thing we did when we had oh man, what was that code? Whenever we would get parts, aftermarket parts for cars at the body shop, there were it was something certified, like it was a certified copy of, I don't know, the original fender, and I can't remember what that code was now, but the fenders, when they had that code on them, they fit really good along with most of the sheet metal stuff that we had. And what year Silverado? That could be a wide range, and if it's a square body, I would ask if you had ordered like AMD or something, because AMD is generally really good at making quarters and fenders and stuff like that. So, oh, doggone it, I downloaded the wrong picture. I'm trying to download some pictures that Robert sent me. Got the sequence out of order. Let me go back up here. C&J Hoyt, have you ever had an issue with the control valve on a two-post lift? It's the Detrol Pick 20 valve. No, I don't know. I haven't had any issue with my two-post lift, so I don't have an answer for that. Jeffrey says they are awesome, Nick. Randy Bayless, aftermarket. Okay, so where were they aftermarket from is probably the bigger question, because like I know if they are good mark or something, they're not as good as they used to be. I know that, like I said, AMD makes some really good stuff, but so I don't know what you ordered. So, Nathan, do you recommend PPG paint or have a favorite brand? I am favorable to PPG. Now, we use PPG products at the body shop, so because I'm very comfortable with that product line, that's probably why I still use it. I've got a good paint rep that I can talk to, and if I have a problem, he's able to usually get me through it. But yeah, I would probably recommend PPG. There's other brands out there that are probably very competitive, but I just haven't looked into it. I'm very happy with what I have from PPG. Troy Justit, good evening all. Sorry I'm late. That's okay. I'm glad you're here, Troy. Catch you off guard by doing it on a Thursday. C&J probably just dirty. 95% of hydraulic issues are dirt. Take it apart and try cleaning it up. There you go. Thank you, Nick. Randy Bayless, 2001 smashed corners. Yeah. A lot of those companies, they may make a decent fender, but then they put it in a piece of junk box and toss it out the back of the truck and see what happens to it. I don't like that. I used to see that stuff all the time at the body shop. We'd have brand new parts from like Kia or something, and it was terrible because I'm pretty sure it was Kia or Hyundai, same company. Basically, they would take like a brand new door. They wouldn't put it in a box. You'd get a brand new door, and it would have cardboard wrapped through the window opening and wrapped around the bottom of the door and taped to it. It didn't have any enclosure at all. And we found out that the trucker who would deliver that stuff, he would show up at like 4 or 5 in the morning when nobody was there, and he had to unload the truck himself. So he would just throw everything off the back of the truck onto the concrete. He did not care, and he would just toss that stuff. And then they would try to sell it to people like us, and we're like, the door, you can't even put a window in this thing. It's all bent all to pieces, and it was just ridiculous how they ship that stuff. Nick Moss says, I bet Jeffrey. Donnie Williams, greetings, Donnie. Glad you're here. Randy Bayless, bad boxing, damaged in shipping. Yeah, they don't. I've had doors show up from CJ Pony that I had to send back twice to get the third one, and the third one was damaged, and I just used it. It's just a little bit of effort to make those boxes better. Okay, so Robert has sent me some pictures, and I know everybody gets upset, but that was what he made for Christmas. Yeah, and it looked like that afterwards. I'm jealous. I am. Put some barbecue sauce on that. Yeah. Okay. Randy Bayless. Yeah, bad boxing. Okay. Richard Byrne. Greetings. Thursday. Yeah. Well, I was unavailable Monday, and I was just bored sitting around the house. And I will say this: there's things that I have to take care of beyond what we're doing all here, right? As everybody else knows. Oh wait, hold on a second. Jefferson, very quick note here, and I gotta eat dinner, but saw the live stream and had to wish you and yours a happy new year. Best of luck to you. Thank you, Jefferson. Appreciate it. And Jerry also says the dinner was very yummy. Yes, I'm sure it was. But as life goes on with everything, we all have our things, right? There's stuff that fails us over time, whether it's our physical bodies or the roof on our buildings or the TV wearing out and stuff, just different things like that. And so this year has been kind of a little rough on us. We have a double oven that the control module failed on the electronic part of it. The upper oven has a push button thing, and the lower oven is a dial, the old style. And so the upper oven doesn't bake anymore, and it's the control module. I've taken it all apart, did some troubleshooting. So it's got to be that control module that they don't make anymore. So then the next thing to go out was our ice maker in the refrigerator, in the freezer. We're all used to that now. Growing up, we had probably, I don't know how many. I know we did. We had the old ice trays. You'd have to fill them up and freeze them and then pull the lever and bust them all loose, and that was the only way you got ice. And I was always amazed when I went to a relative's house, an aunt who lived down in Maryland, and she had an ice maker in her freezer, and I was just amazed that it made ice like that. So now we've become convenience oriented with that sort of thing. So you have your water dispenser, and then you have your ice maker. So the motor locked up. So that thing went bad. I'm gonna have to fix that, and I already have a motor on order. And then Christmas morning, I was up early because I had to be. I go in the kitchen to get a drink of water, and I walk in there, and my wife has this decorative mat. You know, it has the ever so popular red pickup truck on it, right? Merry Christmas red pickup truck. And so I walk in there and step on that pad, and I'm like, why are my feet wet? What's going on here? So I start looking, investigating, open up the cabinet, I'm picking up bottles, and everything's wet. And I don't know what it is. I don't smell anything, and I don't know. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it right now. I ended up going back to bed, and because it was like 5 a.m. I had to get up and get some water, and so came back out and later and started pulling everything apart. Come to find out, the garbage disposal thing. Apparently, it's got a crack on the side of it, and if you run water on that side, it doop, trails out and runs into okay. So now I got to figure that out. It's always something. You know, all these items are probably 20 years old, which not surprising that things fail, but it's just the difficulty with anything like today or anything in the last 20 years is a lot of it is a digital type of thing, and it may not be the machine that actually fails, it's the control module or the control keyboard or board and stuff like that. So I know I can take care of the freezer, and I can take care of the garbage disposal, but I got to figure out what I can do with that oven, because otherwise you have to justify the cost of a brand new oven, right? So a couple $1,000 because a control board doesn't work. I'm ready to hotwire the thing and just put in a switch, just rig it up with a control module. Anyway, that's been fun for this year. Troy, that's why I try to pick up parts when I can to prevent damage. Yes. Yeah, I'm the same way. I especially liked it when we had Mustangs Unlimited, and I could get in there and actually look and pick through parts. But they're gone now, so that option's not available anymore. Nick Moss, you ain't kidding, brother. It's been a rough year with stuff going out. Yeah, like your bicep. It just up and quit on you, didn't it? Richard, yes, stuff happens. Had to put a new control board in our dishwasher. Cheaper than buying a new one, though. Yeah, that is true. That is true. That was another thing that we earlier this year we had to buy a new washer and dryer. Yeah. Donnie, the quickest way to get an appliance utility failure is invite people to Christmas dinner. Yeah. Well, the oven happened to fail right before Thanksgiving. And that really messed things up because she loves to cook, uses both those ovens, and she ended up buying a roaster to do the turkey in, which it turned out good. But she bought this roaster. And it was one of those things, you go to you start looking at prices of stuff, right? And you're like, you went that much for this or this much for that, And she found a deal. There's a store here locally. Well, I guess it's a chain store. I think Kohl's. And somehow they had this roaster on sale, and then had like some sort of discount stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I think she got this roaster, brand new roaster for like under $20 or something. So it saved us on the turkey. We were good with that. But yeah, there's always something. Doyle, have you checked eBay for the controller? There are times when they are used but available. I haven't looked a lot lately. I know we found a relay that might solve the problem, but I have to get it unsoldered and soldered back on. I'm not real good with that stuff, so I have to try to find somebody that can take a look at it. But that's not a bad idea to check out on eBay. Mick, double oven we had. It was a thermal safety switch found. If both ovens were used on high temps, it would fail. I checked the thermal safety switch. That's not the problem. I've checked. I'm able to operate the broiler and the bake in the lower oven. Operate the broiler in the upper oven. I've done a check on the elements. Everything is working. The relay will click on. I can actually feel it when I operate the thing on the broiler, but the other one, it will not send a signal to energize the lower burner, so the lower element. So I'm pretty confident it's something in the control board that's messed up. Nick says, "Yeah, it did. Nearly smacked me in my own face on the way out. I have to hop off. Have a good New Year's, y'all." Thank you, Nick. Glad you were here. Jerry says, Robert says there are repair places that can fix the board for about $100. Jerry would say, "I guess it's time for a new one." Well, if that's the case, I got to find them, and I'll send it to them and let them fix it. If they can fix it, I'll be happy to spend $100 to get it fixed. Al Buckle, is paying double for NOS sheet metal worth it? NOS 69 fender nearby asking $700. Ouch. That is a great question. That is a very good question. Very great question. Well, here's where you have to debate this out, right? NOS fender, if it is, let's say it's perfect, right? Brand new in the box, perfect. I would probably consider paying that for it. Just to be honest. I would probably consider paying that. Now, it also depends on what you're building. So if you're building sort of a more plain car, and you can get an aftermarket fender that is decent, you're probably okay. But everybody should know that the NOS fenders are better than anything out there, just like the doors and everything else. $700. I don't. If a new aftermarket is $350. Again, you have to weigh it out and see what your end result's going to be. I've used new fenders on different cars and had to rework them completely. I did a video on fenders for the '68 Coupe that I did, and I had a damaged fender that was stock, the original fender, and I went and bought two fenders. I got one from Summit and one from somewhere else. It might have been one I had. I don't remember exactly. I did a comparison on those, and hands down, the NOS fender was the way to go, even though I had to spend time and fix it and make it right. I will say this. I have done a 70 sport roof, and I have videos on it as well. The conflict I ran into on the 70 was I put a driver's fender on it, aftermarket, and where the fender comes up and meets the door and the windshield post, the shape was wrong, and so I could not. I couldn't leave it alone, and there was no way to fix it to make it look right without doing something drastic, let's say. So I ended up taking the original corner from the 70 fender and cut that out and welded that into that aftermarket fender so I could get the lines right on the fender and the door, because it was just a mess. So I've had that. I don't know if I have a picture of that car. I probably don't have one on here, but it was a 70 sport roof that we did for a guy. So there's value in that if you're looking for more perfect as an end result. A lot of people, they're not that concerned. They'll put it together, and if they want to just have a car they can drive, that's fine, But you have to weigh that out, whether it's worth it or not. The Mach 1 I have, I have the quarters are messed up, and I'm going to be putting on the Dynacorn quarters, same as this car. And I'm going to end up doing it differently. Instead of coming all the way to the top up here, I'm going to end up doing just kind of the side. But I want to maintain as much of that original upper half of the car. I have the original fenders, and I have 2 aftermarket fenders. So I will be doing some comparison between those when I get to that point. I'm probably leaning towards rebuilding the original fenders if I can, just like I did with the 68. So on Jade, I think it was the driver's fender that I sectioned the bottom half with a patch and put it all back together. But if I can salvage the original fenders, even with fixing some rust and different things, I would probably prefer to do that on the 69. Good question. Al, I'm sorry, I skipped over Al. Randy, I answered Al's question. Randy says, they say you don't own a house owns you. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Rick Stevenson, hello everyone. Hello, Rick. Glad you're here. Hope all is well. You get a bell. Randy, watching a show with a guy at the watching a show with a guy of the 69 Firebird, 2 aftermarket fenders. One was a 1/4 inch longer than the other from right to left. Yeah, not surprised. Not surprised at all. That's like the quarter panels on the 65 and 6 cars. The driver's side aftermarket panel is normally a 1/4 inch longer. And so I've actually had to cut a section out of the quarter panel to shorten it to make it work on the 65 and 6 cars. That's not surprising at all. You know, these, whatever they use for jigs or forms or whatever, you end up, as with anything, they wear out, they reproduce them. They may not get them exactly right, or they may do something, make it a little bit off. I know I have a friend who is a machinist who works in, I think it's down in LaGrange area, Georgia. There is a Kia plant. And he was telling me about their process for making panels and making like doors. I was pretty impressed. I would like to see this in action. But if they make a door, they don't just make like one door at a time. They've got a giant press, and they have, I think he said, maybe it's 9 dies that they use, and 9 on a table, right? And they put the sheet metal in there, and the press does all 9 at the same time. I think it's what he was explaining to me. Now, what's interesting is, if I understood him correctly, they have like 2 or 3 sets of those dies, and they are all used to make these doors. And so when you look at an aftermarket car or a new car, let's say these days, pretty much you can take a fender from or a door from any new car and put it on another new car, and it's going to fit dead on. You're not going to have a gap. You're not going to have, gap issues or anything like that. But what he was explaining to me was this machine would press, and they would do like, 10 pressings or whatever the number was. They had it all calculated. And once they did that, that whole table would slide out to the machinist area, and the next one would come in, and they would start stamping again. Okay, that first table went over to the laser machine, laser measuring devices and everything they have, and scans all of them to make sure they are correct. And if there's anything that has worn or is slightly off, they correct it, make it right. They check for any kind of flaws, anything that's may have landed on the die and might cause a deformation of the stamping, and they will do that repeatedly. So they ended up just kind of cycling through and double checking these things to make sure every one of them is dead on. So pretty amazing when you think about it. Now, you look at these cars from the 60s and 70s, and they might stamp out 500 doors on one die and go, that's close enough. put it together, and we got a gap it's 1/4 inch, or a gap it's 3/8 of an inch, or gap it's 3/16, whatever it may be. They didn't care. They were just like, the door shuts, let's go. Keith, some of the recently built appliances with control boards need to be rebooted. Try unplugging them for 30 minutes to reboot them and clear the diagnostic memory. Not a bad idea. This particular oven is probably 20 years old, though. So we've had it unplugged or powered down several times. Doesn't matter, but that's good advice. Rick, original reproduction quarter panels sent from my 65 coupe by CJ were an inch too long. They turned out to be junk, and many other ways were sent back. Proper ones obtained from NPD. What, an inch? Holy cow! That's pretty amazing. Al, to repair small rust holes around a 69 taillight, would you patch the panel or just replace the whole tail panel? Aftermarket tail panel seem to fit pretty well. That's a, you know what? Let me give you some advice on that one. Depending on what you're doing, and I mean this as in like this car back here, right? The recent videos that I've done on this, I've come to the conclusion that you can't put pieces in. It has to go in sequence. Sequence is scored, right? I say that all the time. So in this case, the tail panel almost has to go in before the quarters and the filler pieces. And I say that because once you put the quarter, if you get the quarter in place and you try to wedge that filler piece in between, you can't do it. You can't get that in there because it has too many overlaps, too many things it has to do to get there. So you either take the quarter off and take that filler piece out to get to the tail panel, or you do something else where you have to cut that filler piece into pieces and then kind of backtrack and all that stuff. Now, what I would say, if you can, save the tail panel. You don't want to open any of that up. You don't want to remove that stuff if you don't have to. I have a similar situation with the 69 Mach 1 that I have that's out in the back, in my Mach 1. There are holes in the web pieces between the taillights. There are holes there. I'm not going to take that tail panel out. It's too much work on that car. Now, 65 to 68, it's not bad. You can actually take it out and put it in from behind. But the 69, it's a lot different. It is a lot more complicated. So if you haven't seen that video, the last video I did, look at that and see what, kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. In my case, I will probably make, I'll make it solid again. And I have to decide on whether I want to cut any of those ribs out and replicate them and put it back together. I'm not sure just yet. I have to see just how thin that metal is, and I might just put a backing plate in there and just tack weld it all back together. There's, I don't know how many holes there are, probably 10 or 12, and just put it back together with weld and then grind it back out. So that's a great question, though. Great question, Al. Thank you for that. He says, looking forward to seeing you tackle your 69 tail panel. Yeah, on my car, when I repair it, yeah, that'll come later. That'll come later. Like I said, this one here, obviously I'm kind of just building everything. So, Donnie, the upside to poorly built aftermarket panels is watching you identify and correct the panel. It is very educational for someone like me who will never have the patience you do. That's one thing, I get that a lot, that I have a lot of patience. And I guess I do. I hate to think of it as, I look at it as a challenge to make it work, but in some ways I guess I kind of look at it that way. That it's one thing, well, here's an example of this kind of in a different way. My parents have a 2023 something. I don't even know what it is. Some sort of SUV, hybrid, half, runs battery and gas, whatever. 2023. And they got hit by a truck this couple months ago. It ended up, my dad said it bent the lift gate, and I guess it got the bumper cover, and there's a dent in the quarter panel by the taillight. He said it's a dent. The repair on that is $13,000. $13,000 because they want to take the whole quarter panel off and replace it with a new one. And my dad used to do, his own body work back in the 70s. And he said, I don't understand, because you could literally pull this out, put some filler on it, paint it, and it's almost, you're done. But the repair on that is by the insurance company, is to cut that whole quarter off and just replace it. And my dad has, like he says, a lot of these new body shop people are just parts changers. Now that's a big deal, parts changing that whole side of the car, but he's right. So you look at the skill sets that it takes to remedy some of this stuff. It's one thing to get a brand new quarter panel, work it off work the old one off of the car, set the new one in, weld it up, and you have all your body lines are there. You don't have to worry about anything. But you take these aftermarket pieces, and you're starting to have to modify and reshape or readjust or rebend all those things. And these newer technicians are like, I don't know how to do that. They're scared to do it. They don't want to try it. And so that's why I think for my bracket of what I do is beneficial to a lot of people, like you're saying. When I did demonstrations on the valance panel and how I modified it to make it fit the car because they don't fit the car. Make that thing fit. Or on the convertibles, the Brooklyn Pony, the fender was horrible, and I basically unwelded it, drilled out the spot welds, reshaped the fender and got it back to the shape that it was supposed to be, and then welded it back together again. Hey, and it fit. So some of it is poor engineering, some of it is poor manufacture, but ultimately, the general population, they're at a loss. They're like, what do I do? I can't see or understand what I need to do to fix this. I see this all the time on the Mustang forums or on Facebook pages. People ask, how do I adjust this door? Or how do I get the fender to fit? Or how do I, and I know Rick does a good job of sharing my information, and I post videos all the time. I'm like, hey, here's how you do it. Some guy asked how to put a windshield in, and everybody was just saying, oh, you just need a rope and you're done. Rope it in. Well, that's fine. So I had, made videos, so I shared that with them. So to me, there's a lot of value in this information that I'm able to put out and help people understand the process so they can fix up their projects as well. Unfortunately, we're stuck with the aftermarket industry. There's not much we can do about it. But I try to do what I can to help everybody out. So Ray says, what's next? What's next for Slither this week? This week, nothing. I'm not going to get anything done. That'll be next year. Next year I'll put the quarters on. Well, I got to finish up the roof and then put the quarters on. What I'm working on for this week, as far as a video goes, is a recap video. So I'm taking snippets from all of my videos for the whole year, from the Bronco to the Mach 1 to whatever else I've worked on, and I'm piecing that together. So there's going to be, I don't know how long it'll end up being. I hope it's not excessively long, but I'm going to try to take pieces from all those videos and make a end of the year type of video for everybody to see. I think that'll be kind of fun. I've never done that before. And I know that Grease Rookie Garage, he had done a time-lapse video sequence of his Mustang project and everything he did with that. Now, I don't have a I don't have time lapse of everything, but I'm going to just take snippets and I'm labeling each segment. So like the Bronco has 13 videos. So those are going to get numbered. Each new segment has a little number in the corner, like right here in the corner, that'll say 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then I start over again with the Cobra Jet. So it's going to have a 1 and continue on through there. And I have a couple other odds and ends of tools and stuff that I'm going to kind of work into it just a little bit. And I think, it's the good thing about that is if there's new viewers to my channel and they're just kind of looking at what I'm doing, it may help them to go, hey, wait a minute. I didn't know he did X and Y and Z and whatever. And then they can go look at my playlist and pull up all of that stuff. It's funny. A lot of times I'll even forget what I've done. Like I was watching those videos on a Bronco and I was thinking, oh yeah, I guess I did do that. Always something going on. Abe, it's scary how we're losing the craftsmanship of the old days. It is. You are absolutely right. I saw another segment because Art Captain has their dedicated page on Facebook, and they have me as a I don't know what they called me, some sort of tech pro or something. I don't know. And I see some of the stuff that people are doing trying to operate these welders, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because it's they're asking questions, and we try to give advice, try to help out and stuff. And I'm glad they're doing it. I want people to get involved in that sort of thing. But yeah, it's hard to pass on the information, especially when you're just through pictures or general answers. You can't really do that. Videos seem to be a good way to do that stuff. C&J has H. I'm sure there's more to it. Abe Godino, thank you for sharing so much great info, Barry. Yes, thank you, Abe. Appreciate that. And you're welcome. Rick Ain, Barry, you should teach at auto body restoration school. The younger generation needs people like you. What you do is becoming a lost art, and it's really a shame. I agree with you 100%. It is becoming a lost art. But I don't know that I feel like I'm kind of doing, if everybody would just join me on YouTube and follow along, they can learn. But I see what you're saying. Doyle, with all the projects, are you still going to have the time for the RV travel? Hint, hint. Yeah. I plan to. Good question. I definitely want to get the RV out. We had planned a trip, kind of a dry run, about a month ago, and the weather got bad, so we gave up on it. Now I have considered. I think we have a trip planned for March, a short weekend trip, and I've considered. I haven't looked into it enough. The Ponies and the Smokies. Maybe making a trip up there, but that's about a week after our other trip, so it might be kind of tight. But I'm definitely wanting to do that and make it happen. But yeah. Now, of course, this car, we're talking about the Cobra Jet. Believe it or not, in my opinion, if I wanted to really knuckle down on this thing, I could have I can have all the sheet metal work done in a couple of weeks, as far as the roof and the quarters and that sort of thing. And then the discussion will be coming up as to whether I'm actually going to paint it or not. And I've been really struggling with that idea. I don't, paint stresses me out, but we'll see how that goes. And once I get all the metal work done on this, and depending on where I go with it next, I want to get the Camaro back in here, get it done, get it sold, and then figure out whether I'm going to work on the Mach 1 or the Fastback, the other 67 Fastback project, Coupe to Fastback. So I got plenty to do. Ray Buckman, year in review sounds like a good year end video. Yeah, it should be. It should be. I've not done that before, but I think it will be. Donnie, so when will I be able to buy a Joe Daddy's Garage 69 Fastback shell so I can build a resto mod classic Mustang with a 1,000 horsepower Godzilla with a 10-speed auto and AC? That can happen. That can happen. Yeah, that can definitely happen. You know, I've had the idea before of taking all of the loose pieces from one of these and doing what I'm doing right now and just building a car, just putting it together, but doing it my way. Instead of using the Dynacorn pan that they provide, I want to do it with buy the frame rails, buy the transition panel, buy all the pieces separately and put it together myself. I would like to do that. I don't know if it'll happen, but I would like to do that. Al, it's a shame most body shops are now collision shops. I spoke to 4 this fall. No one would take on a classic car full repaint. Yeah, they won't. And when they do, they are charging an arm and 2 legs now for that work. Yeah. Randy, I grew up going to Junkyard getting 3 starters to build one. Now dealerships want to replace a whole transmission for a simple starter. Maybe not that extreme, but you know what I mean. Oh yeah, yeah. They don't have. It's crazy how bad the skill sets are. They just want to replace things, keep it as simple as they can. Rick, any updates on that Bronco? Was it ever finished? I don't know if he got it completely finished. Last I had heard, he had put on the power steps that come out from underneath on the side. He had those in place. He had it all wired. He had the interior in it. But I don't know that he actually got the engine and stuff sitting in it yet. I don't know for sure. But I can find out. I'm in contact with him almost daily, so I can find out. Is Vitoy. Oh snap! I finally have the time to jump into a stream. Heck yeah, buddy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't tried it on a Thursday. I've always done it on Mondays, and I assume Mondays are still good, unless I should start doing it a different day of the week. But I just happen to be bored. Donnie says, "Now that's what I'm talking about." Yeah. I mean, I would like to build my own full body car, but I mean I have other things to work on. But I would like to be able to do that. Again, I've got to get this thing taken care of. I want to get that '68 Camaro taken care of, get it down the road, and then decide what I'm going to do from there. Of course, I still have my brother's Studebaker sitting up on the lift, so I have to take that into consideration as well, what I'm going to do with it. I do have new fenders for it and some other pieces and parts. So that's also, it's on my list, but it's on like the 3rd list. It's not even on the 1st list. Abe, my wife asked me to just have a shop paint my car. When I told her they wanted between $10,000 and $20,000 to paint it, that was the end of that conversation. I am painting it myself. Yeah. You're exactly right. Now, I've heard some outrageous numbers for doing paint work. Outrageous. I know Nick had a bunch of work done on his car and custom work, and had to, they paid it. He had to pay quite a bit to have it painted. Now, this car, Charles's wife had contacted a shop, and I don't know for sure the whole parameter of it. I don't know what all was exchanged in the conversation, because she had said about just painting the car. That was all she was talking about, was painting the car, and she reiterated that to me, that's what she told them, is she wanted it painted. From what I understood, now I don't know if this shop, what they're thinking. She told me that shop wanted to charge $65,000 to paint this car. $65,000. So I don't know what the parameters are. I don't know if they are like thinking they were going to be doing metalwork to it, or what. I really don't know. But and she implied that they were like, yeah, we have people waiting to get in here to get their car painted by this shop. But they must do stuff like SEMA cars or something. I don't know. The only thing that concerns me with, well, I say the only thing, the biggest concern I have with painting this car, the original color is black jade. So that is a very, 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 very dark green, which is nearly black. And then it has the stripes, the hood layout, the hood decal, or not decal, paint on the hood. And once you paint that, you're done. Meaning you can base coat and clear coat and redo stuff if you need to, get it right. But the hood is a flat black. You don't get a second chance at that. You don't get to sand and buff that. So you have to paint the hood and the cowl and get it right. Period. There's no recovery from that. Rick Stevenson, we have become a throwaway society. It seems like nobody wants to fix anything, just throw it away and get a new one. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what everybody has become, basically. Well, I say everybody. The younger generations have become that way. Those of us that are in the Boomer or Gen X group, we'll take a crack at trying to fix something. But the younger ones, first of all, they don't really know because they weren't. They may not have been taught anything when they were younger, and now they have. Like, there's apparently some YouTube channels out there where it's like, Dad says, or Dad fixes it, or something like that, and those are extremely popular with the millennials and all that, because now they can get information on how to fix a toaster and whatever, which is great. I'm all for that. I'm happy that they're getting involved with that. But yeah, it's pretty much, if it breaks, throw it away. Terry Keithley, did you get a Christmas card from B. Pete? No, did not. Dave Tyson says Mako. Yes. Believe it or not, Mako will do a good paint job. The thing is, you better do all the prep work. You've got to make sure everything's sanded and primed and ready to go and taped and all that stuff before they spray it, because they will do a good paint job. I've heard that, and I've known people that have done that. But you better have it prepped and 100% ready, because they're not going to be messing around fixing things. Donnie, I'm suggesting you build them to sell. I found your channel all those years ago when I was deciding between an autocross resto mod Mustang or new rock crawler. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that would be great. The difficulty is I'm a one-man show. But yeah, that would be great. Rick, I felt alone on Monday without the stream. I'm glad this popped up tonight. I was going through withdrawal. I'm still waiting for our Junkyard story. Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't. I know I've shared some Junkyard stories recently. The problem is some of the stuff that I have to talk about from the Junkyard is probably just really mundane. I try to come up with stuff that would be interesting or comical. But there's really not a whole lot that I can think of at the moment. Let me see. I'll see if I can come up with something. Let that stir in the back of my head for a minute. Donnie, I suspect there's a real market for new Mustang body shell properly built. Oh, I'm sure there is. Donnie Reeves. Oh, yeah, 2 Donnies. That's new. Welcome, Donnie. What most people don't realize about paint jobs nowadays is some paint materials are upwards of $1,000 an ounce. That is accurate. Back in 2000, what year was it? 2006 or 7, we painted a 68 Camaro. No, 69 Camaro. Yeah, we redid a 69 Camaro. And we painted it with PPG Vibrance. At that time, and that paint, just so you know, has diamond dust in it. Okay, so really beautiful paint. But at that time, PPG Vibrance paint was $1,000 a gallon. I don't even want to guess what they're charging for it now. I bet you it's at least double that. And you talk about all these additives or cool stuff you want to do to it. Yeah, it adds up really, really fast. Ray, even car manufacturers are building cars that are not meant to last. Sad, really. Well, yeah, that's become the norm, right? So if you back up from that a second, you go back to just start in the 50s or 60s, any of that time period. What was the trend, right? You would have a new car every year come out, a new design. Now, granted, they were somewhat similar. You look at the 62, 3, and 4 Impala, very similar kind of shape. The 62, 3, 4 Galaxy 500, similar in shape. Any of those cars had similarities, but they were going out of their way to put out a new body or a new shape almost every year, and that kind of died off in the 70s. If you look at the Chevy C10 pickup, so 73 to 87 was basically the same cab, same thing all the way through, and even Ford and Dodge, they all kind of copied all that sort of thing, building the same Mustang body, all those sort of things. So the trend for us as consumers was, they told us these cars were only good for like 100,000 miles. Everybody knew that. 100,000 miles, you better trade it or sell it before you ever get to that point, because it's going to fall apart at that point, right? And that was common for everybody. We would have cars in our junkyard that they would bring it to us to scrap it because it had 110,000 or 120,000 miles on it. They were like, "Oh, I don't trust it anymore. Get rid of it," right? And so the dealerships, they wanted you to consider that as the norm. So when you had a car that was getting 70, 80, 90,000 miles on it, you better trade that in while you still can and might get some money out of it. So you would trade it in, get a new car, drive it for 5 or 6 years or whatever. So those cars, the mindset was they would get replaced every so many years. And it's an anomaly that we even have these cars at this point, when you really think about it. The mindset was scrap them, get a new one, keep going, get another new one, all that sort of thing. Now today, these cars are meant to be disposable. It's just a norm. They're meant to be safe. Coming from the collision side of things, I can tell you that the amount of design feature that goes into a modern car, it's amazing. So when they take an impact, they're designed to collapse. They're designed to crush. They are designed to come apart in order to save the occupants in the car. The cars from the early days, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they didn't care. You had this big stiff frame and a big bumper up front. You'd eat that steering wheel. You'd have that thing go right into your head. Today's cars are so different because they are meant to save the occupants from a collision. And I see it all the time. You see accidents, pictures of accidents posted, and somebody will destroy that car, and they're up standing beside it going, "Whoo, what happened?" Whereas if you backed up in time and you did that same accident with anything built before the 80s, even up into the early 80s, you'd never survive it. So there's a reason why they're doing that. And ultimately, none of these cars are going to be collectible. That time period is gone. The only thing that's collectible now is, your exotics, maybe certain Corvettes, certain Mustangs, certain Camaros, stuff like that. But the general car that everybody's going to have and drive, the SUV and all that, nobody's going to care about a 2003 Toyota in the next 10 years. They could care less if they're even on the road. So, just my opinion on that, but I understand what you're saying. Rick, I'm afraid that if I take my car or truck to Mako and supply the paint, that they would swap out my supplies with cheaper stuff specifically clear coat. That's a good point. That is a very good point. You'd almost say, I want to see you mix it and spray it. I don't know if they'd let you do that. Doyle, is metal flake paint as hard to paint as they say, with sagging and runs, etc.? I'm going to say yes. And the reason I say that is, in my experience, which is, I mean, I don't have 50 years of experience painting cars, but you have to have the understanding of what's going to happen based on how wet or dry you're spraying it, how the flake reacts to different inputs. So if you're spraying heavy, you could end up with all of the flake laying the wrong way, even sagging. You spray it too light, and you've got some pieces that are up and some that are down, which messes with the whole look of the paint job. Silver is the absolute worst for like a body shop to blend it. It just doesn't work. I can see a blend on a silver car any day. I can see it. I mean, it's just obvious. So it takes some experience to really understand how the flake works, and what you're going to get with the end result. So it is difficult. Al, 60s Mustangs were supposed to last 10 years max. My mother's 66 2+2 was unsafe due to rust by 74. It went to the crusher. Yeah. They had all kinds of ideas that, because these cars didn't even have primer anywhere inside or underneath. They just threw paint wherever they felt like it and said, okay, you're good to go, because they didn't expect it to be there. 10 years, that's probably what you're right. That's it. Get rid of it. Though I remember when I was younger, in like 77, 80,000 was considered worn out. Yeah. And and the thing is, the cars of in that era, as long as you kept the oil changed, you kept the fluids topped off, you could probably drive them indefinitely. Honestly, the way they were built was better than a lot of the stuff they build today. A lot of today's cars all have electronic controls. They have multi-speed transmissions. They've got valves that shut off for fuel control. They have these cars that they shut off whenever you stop at a red light, and then you step on a gas pedal, it restarts, which is just another start cycle, which is more wear and tear than ever on your modern engine. So turn that feature off. But yeah, I know a guy who had a friend of my dad's. He had a '61 Impala convertible that when it finally fell apart with 450,000 miles on it. Yeah. He had a '72 Nova that had 360,000 miles on it when he finally parked it. So they could, maintenance is the key on any of this stuff. It's usually the body's falling apart before anything else. Unfortunately, I fall under the generation of replace, not fix. I do what I can with the YouTube videos and early 2000s blogs, but other than that, I'm lost when it comes to body and mechanics. Well, that's understandable. That's understandable. That's why it's important you watch my videos and learn from that. Ray Buckman, that's certainly true, Barry. I didn't look at it that way. Even here in Colorado, anything after 74 isn't considered a collectible. Yeah, then nobody wants any of that. Now, some stuff is coming up, becoming collectible. You look at the square body trucks, even up to the 87s, the Chevys, people are buying those things up. Now, the next generation, 88 to 98, people are getting interested in those. It's got to be a short bed standard cab. They don't want an extended cab. They don't want the long bed. They want a short bed standard cab. Those are becoming more desirable. Certain Mustangs, obviously, will always have an appeal. And, again, there's just certain ones that will become more valuable as time goes on. Just the way it is. Especially whenever you have somebody who, like I am mid-50s, whatever I would have been driving something in '83 would have been my 16-year-old, if I was other than I was driving a 72 Chevy pickup truck, but in 83, if you look at what was new, a lot of people are having that nostalgia feel, get to be in this age bracket, and they're going, you know what? My friend had an 83 Berlinetta Camaro. I want one of those. And they go out and they try to find them and rebuild them. Ed, wait, all electric cars will not be around for 50 years. They say it. They say it's the future. Let's go. Yeah. You know, nobody's buying these electric cars, by the way. Nobody's buying these things. I've been keeping up with a little bit on that, and they said like they can't sell them the new Fords and whatever trucks. They can't practically give these things away. Nobody's buying them. Nobody. Most schools nowadays don't even have woodworking, mechanics classes, etc. Heck, I had to learn how to time and tune my car from a YouTube video when I first bought my car. Yep. I understand that. Terry Keith, we have a 1940 and 46 Fords. Whoever thought they would be around in 2023? Valid point. Just like I have a 31 Model A. Think about that a minute. It's a 31 Model A. This is soon to be 2024, right? That car is 93 years old next year. 93. It's soon going to be 100 years old. And still runs. Simone checking in. Glad you're here, Simone. Hi, Barry and all. Just a quick hello. Glad you're here. Randy says, I have a 79 Mustang pace car. They're becoming more collectible, fairly easy to work on. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's certain ones that people are interested in. Donnie, 72, huh? I had a 63 GMC when I graduated in 83. Okay. Yeah, I drove a 72 long bed. And I had that. I think I have, let me see if I still have that picture. I don't know if I still have it on here or not. I had a picture of that truck and my first Mustang that I rebuilt. Yeah, here you go. So that's at the Junkyard. So here's the Junkyard story, Rick. That's my 72 Chevy truck. Originally a 307 3-speed on the column, and I converted it over to a 4-speed. The transmission was out of a 55 Chevy or GMC truck, so it was unsynchronized. The seats in there, you can see there's a little high back to it. That's out of a 72 or 73 Plymouth Fury, I think, is what the seats were out of. So it had a bench seat with fold-down armrest. And then it has stacks on it, which were side pipes from something. So I put stacks on it, and the bed is from a 55, I think, or 57 Chevy long bed. So it is a hodgepodge of pieces and parts from the Junkyard. And then sitting behind it is actually, that's a 70 Mustang Coupe. That car was hitting the right front, and when I started working on it when I was like 15, I think 14 or 15, and it was a 6-cylinder 3-speed, and I rebuilt the front end with parts from a 69 coupe that my sister drove for a period of time. And so it had originally 4-lug wheels, and I swapped everything over to 5-lug. Yeah, if you look at this picture, you'll see some oddball stuff sitting around. Like behind the truck, just to the driver's side, there is a yellow Duster sitting there. There's a school bus behind it. And just over the right passenger side door, there is an old fire truck. That was a really odd vehicle. you can't really make it out in the picture very well, but if you look about halfway down the roof or the side, you'll see kind of a shadow that's a little bit dark. That whole rear roof section would slide forward underneath the forward roof section and create this great big opening in there. Now, I don't know what it was used for, but I know it was at some point a fire truck. And there's several other, I can't make out much else there. I think there's a behind the Mustang, might be the 53 Chevy truck we used to use to haul coal and firewood and everything else. But yeah, that was my runaround truck when I was 16. So long gone. Long gone. Simone, yeah, my car should be dust. 52-year-old British car. They were rusting out of the showroom. Yeah. Dave Tyson, 3 years ago, I wish I was in school. Wait, 3 years ago, I was in school. Wait, I'm not sure what you're saying there, Dave. 3 years ago, I was in school. Marine update, no young people in classes. Okay. I'm guessing you're saying no young people in the classes. I'm not sure what you're trying to pass on there, Dave. Sorry. A little confusing. But yeah, it's anymore. It's hard to find young people that are interested in this stuff. You know, it's unfortunate. And I don't know what we can do to change that. You know, there's a divide between my generation, Generation X, let's say, and millennials, who they're interested in these, like the tuner cars or the little Hondas, and I get that because that's all they know. They don't, you know, they see an old Mustang and they're like, what is it? How fast will it take a turn or something like that? They don't think about it from the design standpoint and the aesthetics of it. You know, there was I have some friends who have a daughter who's very interested in Mustangs, and they were over here looking at one of my cars, and she had a young man with him, and you know, he was asking me about Jade, and I was telling him about it, and somebody asked what would that sell for, and I just pretty much said, well, you can get a range of like 25 to 35 is what I said. And this kid looked at me like, and he said, what? And I said, yeah, he said, 1,000? And I said, yeah, this car would sell probably between $25,000 and $35,000 pretty quick. And he was just looking at me like, no way. Like he could not see that. And I get it, because he just doesn't understand. He's more used to the disposable cars we were talking about earlier. So it's I don't know how. There's not much we can do to change it, because they get shunned for lack of knowledge, and people, they think they're asking a dumb question, when I'm like, no, come here, let me show you. That's why, like, when I take my Model A to cruise-ins and stuff, I don't have the interior finished. It doesn't have door panels. It doesn't have any of the trim in the top. It's all open. And I do that on purpose. I don't want to fix that. I don't want to finish it. Even though I have the interior to do it, I want to leave it undone, because when people come by and look at it, I want to point that out to them. I want to say, hey, did you see the inside? And they start looking at it, and they're like, what is that? And I said, that's how they came. And I explained the history of the car, and I explained why they did what they did and how they did what they did. And they come away with a whole new understanding of it. They just don't see it as a old car anymore. They see it as a construction piece. How did they put this thing together, as opposed to just looking at a finished product? So it's kind of, I don't know. I try to do that as much as I can with the Model A. just to get people interested and just show them what's different about it. Robert, I'm back. What did I miss? Not much. Okay, so Simone says hi. Dave says yes. Okay. Robert, hey Simone, got to renew my passport, and maybe I'll make a trip out there next spring. Okay. Will Smith, is that wheel flare? Is that wheel flares in the car behind you? They look huge. No, that's not. That's the normal opening on the '69 Mustang. So just the quarter panel has to go up here, but no, this is the shape. That's how they come. That's exactly how they come. Glad you're here, Will. Doyle, why get an old car with low horsepower? I can get a new Mustang or Dodge with 700, even though the new plastic will be gone in 15 years. We need to rescue as many as we can, in my opinion. Yes. I mean, I get it. I get it. You know, the big thing now is people doing body swaps. They'll get a modern car, they'll pull the old body off of something, Mustang or whatever, put it on a new chassis, and then drive it like a new car, but have the old body on it. And I have to admit, I like it. In many cases, I like it. It makes sense. It's a shortcut. As long as it's done right, I don't really have a problem with it. Randy, when I was in high school, I was in body shop class. My brother was in welding class. I don't think they do any of that stuff anymore. If you wanted to work on your car, you took night school body shop. Yeah. Well, I know the school, growing up in the 80s, we had a vocational course available. So at the school I went to, there was, let's say, 10 schools around in the county, whatever. And then in the main part of the county, the central biggest part, there was a VOTEC. And so the way they did it, you went to regular school 1 week, and then you went to VOTEC for a week. You rode a bus to that place, you spent the whole week going there, and then the next week you'd go back to your regular school. And what they did, it was able to allow them to rotate more people in and out. So 5 schools would be there at one time, and then 5 schools would be there the next week, and it went back and forth. So they had auto body, auto diesel, they had welding, plumbing, masonry, woodworking. They had like a hair beautician thing. They had people that could operate like food, cafeteria stuff. There was like a nursing thing. I said masonry, I think. There was like all these things, and it didn't cost anything. You just went because you wanted to. And so like when I went for woodworking. I had an interest in it, and I did cabinet making and carpentry. And so I have that stuff in the back of my head as well. But I had friends who were doing welding and machining. They had a machine shop in there. So, they should offer that more to these people and let kids and let them know they can do this sort of thing instead of being told to go to college, get a degree that isn't worth squat, and they got to pay all the bills to get back, or make money to try to pay off the loan that they'd had to take out. So, yeah, I'm with you, Randy. Al, I recently sold some parts to a couple in their 20s who have 3 classic Mustangs. It was refreshing to meet young people with the same passion. I guess there is hope. Awesome. That's cool. Will, it's the angle. They looked as big as you. Yeah. So, yep, I get it. Simone, good news, Barry. It looks like I have found somewhere to weld the Cortina locally. Can't wait to get stuck in again. Okay. Let's see. Strider Ward. That's a new name. Welcome, Strider. Big fan of the channel. Keep up the great work on the car. I'm 18 and have been playing with them for a couple years. I have a 69 Mach 1 I'm wrenching on. See, that is awesome. I'll give you 3 bells for that. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Donnie, speaking of the infrastructure of the shell behind you, how will you prep the metal before closing it up with the quarter panel? There's really not much prep that I need to do because This has the Well 2 primer on it, right? And I may you scuff it and shoot some Rust-Oleum or something on this section, but the reality is it's not going to need anything because this car is not going to be off-road. It's not going to be driven in the rain. It's not going to be seeing the weather that took forever to destroy it. So any of this stuff here, I could easily apply just about anything as an additive, and it'll take care of it. We have to remember these cars. Like I did the cowl, I sprayed the whole inside of the cowl with Rust-Oleum, scuffed it up, sprayed Rust-Oleum. That's going to last indefinitely. We tend to think about these cars. Well, sometimes we think about these cars as when they were original, they were commuter cars. They saw daily use. They were driven to work. They were driven to the store. They were driven in snow and rain and ice and bad weather and everything else. And now they're not. I mean, they sit in a garage for the most part. They get out every so often and go to a car show. Very few people drive these cars on a regular basis, and they're not going to see the same weather conditions. So it's not really that big of a concern anymore. In fact, the original car, all this area here never had paint on it to start with. So even this is a defensive paint at this point. The originals had nothing in here. They was just raw metal. So, but still a good question. As Simone says, good question. Yep. C&J, they should come up with dipping it in epoxy primer. Yeah, that would be great. Ray, got to run. Looking forward to the review. Have a great one, everyone. Keep these projects going. Yes. Glad you're here, Ray. Robert, when I had the quarters off my 66, I blasted everything I could get to. Might as well while in there. Yeah, might as well. Simone, what is your opinion on rust treatment spray? There are so many to choose from, and I'm not sure about them. I'm not sure how to answer your question. There are a variety of rust treatments. Most of them are just an acid that treats the metal and makes it kind of, I don't know how, react, let's say, and stop the rust. There are other things that are coatings like Por 15 and stuff that are supposed to encapsulate the rust and keep it from coming back. In many cases, what I would want to do is I treat stuff with the navel jelly and stuff like that, where you apply it, it creates a barrier, you rinse it off, and you just put primers on top of that. Normally that's what I do, something along those lines. Wire brush it if you can, get the rust off out of it, all that sort of thing. But most of them are really good. There was a product I used for a period of time. It was Triple X. That's what it said, Triple X. Really poor choice in a brand, but it was really good. It did a great job of removing rust. In fact, I did some videos on it when I de-rusted the roof of Jade. I think I have something on there, but you can't buy that stuff anymore. You just can't. I don't know if they just quit producing it or what, but I can't find it now. I think I still have that bottle. What was it called? Let me look quick. I know it's triple. It might not be up here. Let me look. Or 3X. That's what it was. 3X. But I have. This was the product. 3X, not triple X. That's something different. Don't go there. 3X chemistry, rust dissolver. And this stuff did fantastic. I don't know what's in it. Gives you first aid response and all that sort of thing. But I'm sure it's some sort of acid. So I was very happy with that product. And then also this, Loctite navel jelly, rust dissolver. I've been happy with how that works as well. But Yeah, I see you're talking about a product we probably don't have. Have been using Hammerite Corust after a wire wheel. I'm not familiar with that product, so that's something probably over in Europe. Uh, Ryan Tacone. I dipped my wife in epoxy primer. Now she won't leave me. And long time no see, Joe. I've been away now, catching up on your videos. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're back. And Donnie says, great question, Hooked. I'm painting a 30-foot trailer now and need info. Yeah. Well, I think I may have communicated with you on that. Like the 415 is a great product, but it doesn't have UV protection. At least the old products don't. I don't know if they added that or not, but that was that was a problem they had with that. It would break down with the sun. So here we have Robert. Phosphoric acid removes rust and leaves an iron phosphate coating, but you have to wash it off and not let it dry. Then scuff and prime. Some epoxy primers don't let you use it under them, though. So that's another thing. You have to know what the parameters are for your paint materials. See if they have any restrictions. Randy Bayless, I think the fireman did a whole thing on different acids and treatments, to which one was the best. Very good videos. Okay, so Mr. Fireman. Yeah, he was on here earlier. Michael, CRC Evaporust works great and it's eco-safe. Okay. CRC Evaporust. Thank you. And Simone, I do use zinc primer before top coat. Okay, good. Ryan, 69 Chevelle Coupe two-door, do they have any value? No, you should probably just send it to me. Just get rid of it. I'll give you $100 for it. Yeah, 69 Chevelles, they're popular. I think the 70 is more popular. I think 70, 71. Yeah, I think those are the more popular ones. But 69, people want them. They do. So yeah, they're worth investing in. Robert, zinc primers are hard to get in the U.S. They outlawed most of them years ago, other than marine use. And Simone says that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't really kept up with that, but I'm sure you're right. Okay, I can feel my voice is starting to go. This has been great. I haven't done a Thursday live stream. I don't know. I used to do a Thursday live stream. I used to do a Monday, and I used to do a Thursday, but it got to be too much. So at this point, I'm pretty happy that we had people show up and get involved and, be part of the show. Robert says the 70 Chevelle is year I'd go for, but you can put the 70 nose on any 67 to 72. And Michael says, send it to me. I will park it next to my 68. There you go. Ryan says, whiskey and honey and hot water, Joe's singing voice. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know that anybody would want me to do a live stream on Monday night anyway, because that would be the New Year, if I remember correctly. Yes, Monday. I don't know if it's worth it to do it or not. People tend to want to celebrate stuff and have a good time, so I don't know if I'll try to do one or not. If not, maybe I'll do another one on Thursday just to make up for it. But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I do have a video I'm working on again. It'll be a recap of all the stuff I did this past year, so I think that'll be fun to watch and maybe get some people interested in going back and looking at some of those older videos, so that they can see what I do. But as far as that, everything else goes, I do want to wish you a Happy New Year, and hopefully next year is better for all of us. So that'll be it for now, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.